Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a truth that will either shake you up or wake you up. Comfort is the cage that kills dreams. You are not created to survive. You were created to thrive. But thriving doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by waiting. It happens when you force yourself, yes, force yourself, to move forward every single day, whether you feel like it or not, whether it's raining or the sun is shining, whether you're on a winning streak or everything's falling apart, you move. Why? Because motion is power, and forward motion is freedom. We live in a world that tells us to follow our hearts and go with the flow, as if waiting on the right feeling is the golden ticket to a great life. But here's the truth that most people won't tell you. Your emotions are unreliable navigators. They fluctuate, they lie, and if you follow them blindly, they will lead you in circles. Emotions were never meant to drive the car. They're passengers, not the engine. And if you only act when you feel like it, you'll rarely act at all. Success doesn't respond to your feelings, it responds to your decisions. The most successful people in the world didn't wait until they felt ready. They moved while they were uncertain. They built momentum when they were tired. They pushed forward when fear screamed at them to stop. Why? Because they understood a critical truth. Motion creates emotion, not the other way around. When you move, you change your internal chemistry. You shift your energy. The act of doing sparks motivation, not vice versa. Sitting around waiting to feel inspired is a guaranteed way to stay stuck. You can't afford to sit still in life and wait for the mood to hit you. You have to force movement and let the mood catch up. Discipline is the muscle that moves you beyond your feelings. It's the thing that tells you, I don't care how you feel right now, we're doing this anyway. And discipline doesn't show up because of some magical motivation. It shows up when you've made a decision, not a wish, not a dream, a decision. A decision that says, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it regardless of how I feel about it. Now let me illustrate this with a short but powerful example. Imagine a man named James. James wants to get in shape. He sets a goal to go to the gym 5 days a week. The first week is easy. He's excited. His playlist is fire. He's got new gym gear. The motivation is high. Week 2 rolls around and the novelty starts wearing off. He's sore. Work gets busy. The bed feels warmer in the morning. His feelings start telling him, skip today. Rest. You deserve it. If James listens to those feelings, if he surrenders to them, what happens? He skips 1 day, then 2, then the whole week, and by the 3rd week, the goal that was alive just days ago is already dead. But what if James doesn't listen to the feeling? What if instead of negotiating with himself, he simply gets up and goes, even though he's tired, even though he doesn't feel like it? He gets dressed, walks into the gym, and gets it done. Now, here's the powerful thing. Once he starts moving, he starts feeling better. Not because the gym changed, but because he changed. His movement produced energy. His action overruled his emotion, and that shift compounds. This is the truth of life. Every time you override emotion with action, you're not just building a habit, you're building character. You're rewiring your identity. You're proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who does what needs to be done, not the kind of person who waits for inspiration. That's the person who wins. That's the person who changes their life. You have to ask yourself, am I letting emotions make my decisions for me? Because if the answer is yes, it's time to flip the script. You don't wait to feel courageous to act courageously. You act, and then courage shows up. You don't wait to feel motivated to do the work. You do the work, and then motivation follows. Waiting is a trap. Feeling like it is a myth. Action is the antidote. When you begin to move forward every day, not because it feels good, but because you said you would, you start living a life of power, a life of integrity. And that's where real confidence is born, not from motivation, but from movement. So make this your new rule. I don't ask how I feel. I ask what needs to be done, then do it. The discipline you develop from that mindset becomes the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Cross it every day. Progress is not a luxury. It's not something you entertain when life feels convenient. It is not a casual suggestion whispered from the sidelines of your potential. Progress is a command, an order from the highest version of yourself to the present version of you. It's your destiny telling you move or miss your moment. Every day you delay, every day you hesitate, every day you entertain excuses instead of execution. You are not just standing still, you are surrendering ground that was meant for you, the territory of your future, your influence, your impact, your calling is being taken by others who had no more talent, no more time, and no more resources than you. The only difference? They moved when you waited. They advanced while you stalled. You don't need anyone's permission to become who you were created to be. You don't need the world to say, go ahead, it's your time now. It's always been your time. What you need is to respond. Growth doesn't ask you if you're ready. It demands you to decide. Progress is not for the comfortable, it's for the committed. The people who win in life are not the ones who hope things get better. They're the ones who take personal responsibility for getting better. They wake up with intention, not with excuses. They don't wait for life to tell them when to rise. They rise and tell life what it's about to become. See, one of the greatest lies we've been sold is that life is about balance, that there's a perfect time and space for everything to align. But in reality, the breakthrough only comes to those who create the conditions, not those who wait for them. Life doesn't hand out achievement like a prize for good intentions. It delivers it as a reward for execution. You don't drift into greatness, you drive into it. And that drive comes from treating progress as a non-negotiable. Let me give you a simple but powerful example. Imagine a woman named Carla. Carla's had a dream for years to start her own bakery. She has the recipes, the passion, and the vision. Every year she tells herself, next year when things slow down, next year when I have more time, next year when I feel more ready. But next year never comes. Something always gets in the way. A work project, a family responsibility, a self-doubt. And while she waits for a green light from life, someone else, maybe in her same city with less experience and fewer resources, opens a small bakery. It's not perfect. It starts small, but it grows not because they were more gifted, but because they moved. Meanwhile, Carla's dream becomes another idea buried under the weight of hesitation, not because she couldn't, because she didn't. That's what happens when you treat progress like a suggestion. You let others live in the space you were meant to occupy. That dream job, that business, that level of health, of confidence, of peace, it's not reserved for the lucky. It's reserved for the decided. You don't wait to feel worthy of progress. You prove your worth through persistence. The truth is, your future is not this distant floating idea. It's being shaped right now by what you choose to do with today. Every action is a vote toward the person you want to become, and every inaction is a vote to stay where you are. Think of progress like a muscle. It doesn't grow just because you want it to. It grows because you put it under pressure consistently. The people who keep pressing forward, even when it's hard, even when no one claps, even when the outcome is unclear, those are the people who wake up one day and realize they've stepped into a life others only dream about. So you have to ask yourself, Are you waiting on progress or are you commanding it? Are you waiting for someone to give you the green light or are you declaring to yourself, I go now? Because the difference between who you are and who you could be lies in how seriously you treat the call to grow. Stop treating your potential like a hobby. Stop dating your dreams casually. Marry them. Commit to them. Show up for them, even when they're messy and inconvenient and slow to reward you. You don't owe the world perfection, but you owe yourself movement. And that movement must come from a place of conviction that growth is not something you occasionally pursue. It's a lifestyle. It's your personal responsibility. It's a command to honor your gifts, to make good on your potential, and to take back the territory your fear has been renting out. If the future belongs to those who create it, then today is your construction site. Get to work. Because nothing extraordinary happens when you treat your growth like an option, but everything can change when you begin to treat it like the requirement it truly is. We live in a world addicted to speed. People want results fast, breakthroughs overnight, success in a snap. But real growth, real transformation, real success, it doesn't show up in an instant. It shows up through persistence, through patience, and through the power of small, steady steps. The truth is, forward is still forward, even if it's only an inch. And if all you can give today is that 1 inch, you give it. You give it with purpose, with passion, and with commitment. Because 1 inch every day adds up. The tragedy isn't that progress is slow. The tragedy is that people quit when it's slow. They stop showing up just because they can't see dramatic results. But the truth is, slow progress is still progress, and it's often the most sustainable kind. People give up not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. They expect results in days for what takes years to build. But success doesn't reward the fast, it rewards the consistent. When you move one step at a time, you build more than results. You build character, you build trust with yourself, you prove day by day that you are someone who doesn't fold when things move slower than expected. And in that consistency lies unstoppable momentum. Let me paint a picture. Picture a man named David. David wants to become a published author. He's got the dream, the desire, and even some talent, but every time he sits down to write, life seems to interrupt. Work gets busy, his kids need attention, he's tired. So instead of writing a chapter, he tells himself, I'll wait until I have a whole weekend free. That weekend never comes. Months pass, and the book still lives only in his head. Now imagine if David changed just one thing. Instead of trying to write a chapter, he committed to writing just 1 paragraph a day. That's it. Not a perfect paragraph, just something. Over time, those paragraphs add up. One day he looks back and realizes he's written 10 pages, then 50, then 100. What looked like barely enough became more than enough. The key wasn't speed. The key was not speed. The key was not stopping. Progress, even when it's small, is a seed. And every day you show up, you're watering it. Most people look at the seed and say, it's not growing fast enough. So they stop watering. But the ones who keep nurturing it, even when they see nothing above the surface, they're the ones who eventually see the bloom. The work you're doing today may not feel like it's changing your life, but it's changing you, shaping your mindset, building your discipline, and forming the foundation for something greater. The problem isn't that the journey takes too long. The problem is that people don't stay on the path long enough to find out what's really possible. They get discouraged by the small steps. They get distracted by the pace of others. They compare their inch to someone else's mile. But comparison is a thief and doubt is a liar. You don't need to run their race. You need to take your next step. That's all. Because if you do that enough times, one day you look up and realize you've climbed a mountain inch by inch. And here's what most people miss. Those small steps are doing more than just moving you forward. They're building momentum. And momentum is powerful. It turns daily habits into breakthroughs. It turns effort into excellence. The greatest athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, none of them started at the top. They started with tiny daily disciplines. They didn't wait for motivation to hit like lightning. They moved forward in the dark with nothing but faith and a commitment to keep going. The mindset shift is this. Stop thinking just this much won't matter and start realizing this much is everything, because when you add 1 inch to another and another and another, something happens. Compound growth kicks in. And suddenly what looked like barely moving becomes an unstoppable force. If you only focus on how far you have to go, you'll feel overwhelmed. But if you focus on how far you've come and the fact that you're still going, you'll feel empowered. The inch you give today might feel small, but it's not meaningless. It's proof. Proof that you're not giving up. Proof that you're still in the game. Proof that you're becoming someone who doesn't quit when progress feels slow. So if today you can't leap, crawl. If you can't crawl, stand. If you can't stand tall, lean. But move, inch forward. Even if no one sees it, even if no one applauds, you applaud yourself. Because that inch might be the very one that takes you past the quitting point. And once you get past that, momentum is waiting for you on the other side. Remember this, legendary success is built on invisible progress. It doesn't always feel like you're making history when you write that paragraph, take that walk, practice that skill, save that dollar, or show up when it's hard. But over time, all those inches create a legacy. So today, don't chase perfection, chase progress. Move forward just an inch. But move. Because forward is still forward, and forward is where your future lives. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful in life has had to face resistance. It is not an obstacle designed to stop you. It's a force designed to shape you. When you feel pressure, when life gets uncomfortable, when the load gets heavy and you want to back off, that is not a sign to quit. That's the signal that you are growing. Resistance is not your enemy, it is your trainer. It is the gym life sends you into when it wants to build the version of you that's capable of carrying your purpose. Without resistance, there is no resilience. Just as muscles only grow through tension and stress, your character only strengthens when it is pushed to its limits. Everyone wants strength, but few are willing to embrace the struggle that builds it. Everyone wants the reward, but most turn away from the work that precedes it. The hard truth is this: you cannot become resilient if you're always looking for the easy way out. Resilience is not found in comfort, it is forged in discomfort. And the very situations you're praying away might be the exact ones you need to step into who you're meant to become. When life applies pressure, when things don't go your way, when setbacks happen, when people walk away, when failure knocks on your door, you have two choices. You can shrink or you can rise. Shrinking is easy, it's comfortable, it's safe, but rising requires you to push back. It demands that you confront your fears, press through your doubt, and keep moving forward even when it hurts. And that kind of rising, that resistance, is what gives you your edge. Think about it. Every great story, every powerful testimony, every world changer you admire had to overcome something. No one is celebrated for how little they endured. They are remembered for how much they overcame. Why? Because what makes a person great is not the talent they were born with, but the resilience they built when things got tough. That's what separates winners from quitters. It's not who had the easiest road. It's who refused to stop walking when the road got hard. Let's bring this to life with a simple example. Imagine a young woman named Lisa. Lisa dreams of becoming a professional violinist. She's talented, but she quickly discovers that talent alone isn't enough. Every day she practices, and every day she is met with frustration. Her fingers ache, her timing is off, and she keeps failing at the same difficult piece. She starts to wonder if she's even cut out for this. Now, Lisa could walk away. She could say, this is too hard. Maybe I'm not meant for it. But instead, she leans into the resistance. She doesn't run from the challenge. She studies it. She breaks the music into smaller sections, practices until her hands cramp, and records herself to study her progress. It doesn't get easier, but she gets stronger. And one day she plays the piece flawlessly, not because the piece changed. That resistance didn't stop her. It trained her. It built her endurance, her discipline, her belief in herself. This is how life works. The resistance in front of you is the opportunity for growth you've been asking for. The pain you're feeling is not punishment, it's preparation, but you only benefit from it if you push through it. If you stop every time it gets hard, you'll never see how powerful you really are. And most people never meet their true potential. Not because they lack ability, but because they quit when things get uncomfortable. They pray for strength, but reject the very resistance that builds it. The key is to flip your mindset. Stop seeing pressure as a problem and start seeing it as a process. When you're under pressure, it means you're in the transformation zone. It means something is shifting in you. You're leveling up. The pain isn't meant to paralyze you, it's meant to propel you. You have to embrace the resistance and let it do its work. Let it build you, let it teach you, let it stretch you. Because on the other side of that pain is your next level. The people who rise in life are not those who had perfect conditions. They are those who trained through the storm, who took every no, every delay, every rejection, and used it as fuel. They didn't run from the pressure. They adapted to it. They turned struggle into strength and pain into power. So the next time you feel that resistance, don't curse it. Thank it. Welcome it. It's not trying to break you, it's trying to build you. The weight you're carrying right now may feel heavy, but that weight is the very thing that's strengthening your core. You're becoming someone who can handle more, carry more, lead more, and achieve more. But only if you don't quit. Only if you keep showing up when it's hard. Pain is the price of elevation. Resistance is the road to resilience. And the more you lean into it, the more unshakable you become. Keep moving, keep pressing. You're being refined, not rejected. You're being trained for greatness. There is a moment in everyone's life when they realize the future they dream of is not something they find, it's something they step into. Not by accident, not by luck, but by choice. And here's the hard truth that most people miss. Your destiny is not waiting for perfect conditions, for the right people to notice you, or for some magical opportunity to fall in your lap. Your destiny is waiting on you, not the distracted you, not the fearful you, not the version of you who keeps procrastinating. It's waiting for the decided you, the version of yourself who has drawn a line in the sand and said, enough, waiting, it's time to move. You're not waiting on a sign, you are the sign. You are the green light you keep hoping for. The opportunity doesn't come first, the movement does. Doors don't open just because you knock once and walk away. They open when you knock, wait, knock again, and keep showing up like you belong there. That's what alignment with your purpose looks like. It's not passive, It's not soft. It's a decision to walk into what's already been prepared for you, even when you don't feel qualified, even when your knees are shaking, even when there's no applause yet. That's the power of being decided. Every time you delay your decision to move, you're delaying your destiny. Every time you listen to fear instead of faith, you step away from the life that was designed for you. Your calling doesn't wait around forever. It requires your participation. Life will always respond to courage, not hesitation. And every moment you waste waiting for the right time is a moment your purpose is left on pause. The future you want is not far away. It's on the other side of your obedience. The faster you move, the sooner you meet it. Let's make this real. Picture a man named Marcus. Marcus has always had a passion for teaching. He's the kind of guy who lights up when he explains something. He makes people feel like they can do anything. But he works in a job he hates. It pays the bills, but it kills his joy. He's always telling himself, one day I'll become a teacher. One day when things settle down. One day when I feel ready. But that day never comes. Meanwhile, years pass, the dream stays parked in the back of his mind, but his life never shifts into drive. Then something happens. One day, Marcus sees an ad for a weekend teaching certification course. His heart skips. That voice in his head says, you should do it. But the fear shows up right after. What if it doesn't work? What if it's too late? What if you fail? He almost closes the window, almost lets the moment pass. But instead, this time, he decides. He signs up. He shows up. That weekend turns into a new network. That network leads to a volunteer opportunity. That opportunity becomes a job, and eventually that job becomes the career he was meant for all along. What changed? Not the world, not his talent. He did. He stopped waiting. He got decided. This is how purpose works. It doesn't show up screaming in your face. It whispers. It nudges. And then it waits to see what you'll do. Will you act on it? Will you move without full clarity? Will you show the world who you are before the world gives you permission? Most people spend their lives circling their calling instead of walking into it. They keep praying for a door while ignoring the key in their hand. That key is action, it's decision, it's courage in motion. Your future self is watching you right now, and it's not asking for perfection, it's asking for movement. Because destiny isn't delayed by your flaws, it's delayed by your inaction. The minute you step up, the moment you move forward, you start shifting everything, you align with something bigger than yourself. The path doesn't always light up all at once, but the next step always does, and that's all you need. Take the step, speak up, apply, start, decide. Don't buy the lie that your dream is on hold because something external is blocking you. Most of the time, the only thing in the way is indecision. And when you truly decide deeply, intentionally, and consistently, you begin to attract the resources, the people, the opportunities that were always there, waiting for the real version of you to show up, not the version that hides behind doubt, the version that moves with purpose. The most powerful thing you can do today is stop waiting. Decide to become the person your future needs right now. Decide to act like you've already been called because you have. Decide to move like the opportunity is already yours because it is. That version of your life that you keep seeing in your imagination, that's not a fantasy. That's a preview. A preview of what's possible if you dare to walk in alignment with your purpose. Your destiny is not in tomorrow. It's not in a new year. It's not in some magical future. It's in your next decision. Move toward it. You don't need a sign. You are the sign. Now act like it. So now the question is, will you move? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be committed. Because when you force yourself to move forward every day, you won't just change your day, you'll change your destiny And listen closely, you owe it to yourself to find out who you become when you refuse to quit. Let's go.